Hey there, this is Olli from metal.de, and I'm here in Munich at the Theaterfabrik. Tonight's going to play The Rival Sons, and I'm very pleased to meet Scott, the guitar player from this band. Stay tuned. Hey man, it's great to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. So we usually start this with a short gunshot Q&A.
Okay.
It's supposed you get 10 easy questions and just quick answers.
I'll do my best.
Yeah. Beatles or Rolling Stones?
Ooh, that's tough. We're sitting here talking about the new Beatles track.
Yeah.
So today, I'm a huge Stones guy. Today I'm going to say the Beatles. Because they put a new track out. So Beatles, love them forever.
Studio or stage?
Ooh, also very difficult. Good questions. I'm going to say stage.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want me to elaborate?
No.
Okay.
Rock or blues?
I think probably ultimately rock.
Okay. Tiger or bear?
Tiger.
Okay, we come to this later on. Festival or club?
Club.
Okay. Book or TV?
I think there's much more value in a book, but it's really hard to deny a good television show.
Okay. Gibson or Fender?
Fender.
But you play Rickenbacker? No.
I play some Gibson. I play a lot of custom guitars. I also play Fender. I play all of them.
Okay.
I'm going to elaborate. I say Fender because the design is so simple, stupid, simple, and genius. Bolting a neck, plastic parts, and for how beautiful and wonderful they are. But I can change my answer immediately and say Gibson because I play Firebirds and they made the Firebird.
Yeah.
And I think the craftsmanship, if you go era to era, like in the 50s, it's no comparison with Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to say Gibson.
Okay. Judas Priest or Black Sabbath?
Oh, Sabbath. I love Judas Priest too, but Black Sabbath all day, every day.
Okay. Dark Fighter or Lightbringer?
I'm going to say Lightbringer.
Okay, why?
I love both the records. I'm proud of both of them. I think we took a little more chances on Lightbringer. It was purposefully kind of offset like that. I'm really proud of the opening track and of all the tracks on there. And I think it's just a beautiful answer to the first record.
Yeah.
It feels like a good step forward for the band.
And you just recently released the Lightbringer record.
That's the other reason.
It's kind of
it's the newest record. I have to say
It's the newest
that.
one, yeah, and it's kind of a part 2 of the album Double, isn't it?
Sure.
What's the story behind this way of releasing that stuff?
We originally had it as one release, but it was too much music, too much information. As soon as we thought of it like that, we immediately felt that it should be split, and there should be almost like not a question, but something like a front and a back, a 2-part thing. And we were really interested in the idea of a refractory period, a period where you can just listen to Dark Fighter and digest it and prepare for this other one and kind of anticipate it, listening to this one, like how is this one going to answer? It allows people to really digest each track on Dark Fighter, which really, honestly, are all very special and all had their place and all mean something. There's no filler on either record. And if we put out an hour and a half of music on one record, it'd be easy to skip through tracks. you know, people these days have a very short attention span, all of us, because we're on these phones and the way we watch music and anything really, because we're always scrolling. We have like 15-second attention spans. So even throwing someone a 30-minute album seems like, you know, it's the equivalent of throwing somebody like probably a 2-hour album in the 70s or something. So it's these smaller bites I think are more appropriate. Yeah.
I just listened to both of those albums yesterday and today, and there's one thing I found it was a little pity, because Lightbringer begins with the song Dark Fighter, and I always wondered why did not Dark Fighter end with a song called Lightbringer.
Right. Well, we didn't write a song called Lightbringer. That's just what it is.
But the idea was good.
I love it. There was no Lightbringer song, so that's it. It's very appropriate that it ends with Dark Side as well. It's kind of like the final chapter of this struggle that the album Dark Fighter poses. You know, there's still some optimism on that record, but less. Jay could explain this a lot better than I can with how he's talking about things. But for me, when I listen, there is an internal struggle on that record, and the themes are darker, and there's more tension in these themes musically. So it takes you all the way to that final song. That final song on Dark Fighter, Dark Side is the ultimate, very deep. Yeah. There's like a deep pain in that song, you know, that we haven't recorded something so much like that, and we normally would never leave a record in that space, but we knew that we had Lightbringer and the track Dark Fighter about to like come in and kind of rescue the mood, if you will, you know.
To me, Lightbringer reminds me of classic rock more than any other Rebel Sons record.
Oh wow!
To be honest, and I even think I spotted some Queenish vibes, even at least at the first song.
With the harmonies and stuff. Yeah, I think there's probably not very much direct Queen inspiration, or direct or classic rock for that matter. You know, people put classic rock on us constantly, and that's okay. I guess it's this idea, ethos that we record with, that we write with. It's just similar. We're and I don't want to sound like a band who you compare them to a band and then they act like they've never heard that band in their life. I don't like that, but that's not what I'm doing. Certainly I listen to that kind of music, and certainly I can hear why people would hear this band sounds like classic rock. But I'm just stating my point of view, where I'm not aiming at sounding like a retro record or niche anymore, and I haven't for many years. But the records are just the people we are, the way we write, the sound in our head. I think it just really translates like that for people, and that's okay. I think when I'm being compared to albums from the early 70s or mid 70s or whatever, or late 60s, these are really, really amazing records for me in my life, and they probably just have imprinted on me in a deep, deep way. So even when I'm writing something that I feel is very modern, all of those tones and sounds and ethos slip into that music still.
On the other hand, because I just talked about classic rock references for me, Dark Fighter sounds much more sinister to me.
Sure.
Is it a well-chosen path for the arrangements, or in the songwriting, or how the album should sound in the end, or was it like a natural process?
Natural process. Yeah, it's all natural process. It's innocent in that way, and not overly masterminded. Although we are, with this record, we spent 2 years making it, so we could, you know, instead of painting a picture and while you're sitting in front of it finishing immediately. We were able to paint this picture slowly and walk away from it, and then come back into that room and look at it and see it with new eyes and understand where different color would go and understand what songs needed to be added or what parts we might want to omit from certain things. It was just much clearer, the whole picture. So I feel like it's a more focused, well thought out album for us.
Okay.
And it still has visceral immediacy in it, because when we went into, and this is in the writing what I'm talking about, it still has a very visceral feeling in the way that when we went to record it, we still caught things in single takes or 2 takes. And the band had never played the song together. So me and Jay spent all this time creating these paintings and not finishing them, but getting enough up on the board that we knew what was there and how they would turn out more or less, but left enough paint off the canvas so when the other musicians and our producer got in with us, that we could improvise and still paint a little bit, and change it and make it like alive, bring it to life.
But to me, once again, both of those records to me sound a bit differently to each other.
And I think it's inherent in the in the themes. The themes of theme of one record is more to do with struggle and again, this is something that Jay would answer a lot more articulately than me, but for me, the first record, Dark Fighter, has a lot more to do with struggle and sitting in it and facing it, not resolving it, facing it, understanding it, and you're hearing the pain, you're hearing the struggle, and that's where it leaves you.
Yeah.
And when you get to Lightbringer, this is a record that's talking about how you deal with it. It's tracks like Mercy, it's tracks like Dark Fighter, it's tracks like Redemption. It's like, how am I if I think of a track like Mercy and what Jay wrote, it's a really beautiful idea, real simple, really clean idea over this grinding riff and grinding groove. He's writing about anger and the visceral emotion of what you want to be angry. When somebody hurts you, you want to hurt them.
Yeah.
And it's just a simple thing that he's writing, but it's a high level way of thinking, and it's cool. It's cool to me. It's beautiful, and the song's called Mercy. It's talking about, instead of reacting and dealing with these dark emotions in a negative way, deal with them in a very positive way, and possibly there's going to be some positive outcome from this, which I subscribe to very, very much. And that's different than this record. This record's just saying, I'm here, I don't like it, it's hard, I'm struggling. This record's saying, I'm dealing with this in this way, and this is how it should go, just very vaguely and from my own perspective.
Okay, I wanted to see in Lightbringer a kind of a spark of hope in the current times we're living in.
I think that's what we tried to put on there.
Yeah.
Do you feel that was on there?
Yeah, to be honest, I think it's not happy music to say this, but compared to Dark Fighter, it's much more lightful and it's not easy to listen. Don't get me wrong. My most favorite song of those 2 records is Rapture, because it reminds me on some elder stuff you wrote, like All I Want. I always wished I could write a song like this and give it as a present to my wife.
That's beautiful.
So, but when I first listened to Lightbringer, I think it was, nowadays you got those news and everywhere's war and climate change and people dying, and then you got music that catches you in a direct way. So that was my feeling when I listened to it first.
And that was our I think in talking, that was really very much an idea that both Jay and myself had with musical themes, and we wanted to tell a story that would end like this. The band has always been like a band of hope. All of our records have hope in them. and love. And as obvious and maybe corny for some people as these themes are, it's times like now when we're faced with very difficult, divisive time, and there's war, and it feels like civil war at home almost, and people can't agree on anything. It seems like this very dark cloud has come over us, and we're just having a hard time agreeing. And the bad news is traveling so fast. It travels a lot faster than the good news.
Yeah.
So for me, as an artist with a small audience, for me with my small audience and the people around me and my family and the people I love, this is what I'm choosing to promote and what I'm choosing to voice. The idea of love, the idea of hope, the idea of not being divisive, the idea of coming together, the idea of fighting the dark, the idea of bringing the light. And it seems like, oh, well, that's not going to solve everything. We can't solve everything. But there are small things we can do. And I've been saying it, and I know some people will roll their eyes. I very much believe love is the answer. And it's time for everyone to show each other a little more love. Yeah.
It was so easy, but maybe not.
Yeah.
To many people. With Jay, you've got one of the most impressive voices in rock music, in modern rock music, to say so. But on the other hand, your guitar sound is unique as well. And can you describe with a few words the workflow when you get together and write songs? Or is there always a bass with the instrumental things and Jay puts on the lyrics?
It works differently. We both write, we both have our own ideas. We're both basically writing our own record initially.
Okay.
And then we're gonna like put the peanut butter with the chocolate and make something nice. So it depends on who's feeling strong about something. We just kind of take turns in that way. When I feel strongly about something, this is important. This musical theme, this feeling, this riff, this energy, this is us. This is the next record I give to him. And I leave stuff open enough that he'll not only write lyrics and melodies on there, but there's also room for him to write some musical ideas if he has like some changes and ideas he wants to do. It makes it very natural, and then he'll give it back, rearrange some stuff, and give it back, and he'll rearrange some stuff, and then we have a song. And then it's the same way. Sometimes he'll write and just have a part, and then I'll write some parts to it, and he'll write words to it. And we pass things around very organically, very naturally. Both of us will also write things that are more complete. If I have some sections that are only needing vocals, he'll do that. And likewise, Jay will write complete songs that I feel are practically complete and beautiful, like a perfect painting almost. So I don't need to paint over anything. I don't need to contribute too much. And in that case, I want to just make sure I'm enhancing what I find beautiful or powerful in what he gives me. It's like a painting. I don't want to paint over anything he's done. I just want to put color around it all to enhance, I think of a track like Mosaic was pretty close to being done when Jay gave it to me, and I thought it was beautiful, but he thought it needed my touch on it. Just to finish it, So I wrote this theme from the top, which I thought framed and set it up and allows people's ears to get warm really quick. As soon as you hear the theme, I feel like people's hearts open up quickly, and it opens their mind a little bit more. So when they hear his voice, they're ready to hear his story, This is a goal. It's some strange way of thinking, but it's how we listen to music, And then the middle section, same idea, bolstering, creating a middle eight that really encompasses where we were in the song and where he wants to take it, tail it, and then ending this that feels like the sentiment, that I felt in the song. When a song like this ends, it'd be like a sunset or like saying goodbye to somebody you love. So I wanted to create this musical theme that felt like that.
I see. Since you started the band back in 2008, I think it was 2008.
Yep.
You've been on tour with AC/DC Black Sabbath. We got those bands
Yeah.
earlier. Alice Cooper, even Judas Priest. On top, you set the first record deal with Ihrer Records, which is an old school death metal label from England.
Yeah.
Do you think your music fit better into heavy music, or fans who listen to heavy music, than maybe folk rock or pop rock or radio music?
I don't think it fits in better. If you would have asked me in 2010, like when we were signing that deal, I would have said absolutely not. But when we went on tour with Judas Priest, it was interesting. That was our first big tour through the UK, through Europe. They took us. We opened for Judas Priest, and we thought, gosh, people are gonna hate us. They're gonna throw shit at us. They're not gonna want to hear our ballads and our like blues-based rock and roll, because that early on, the band was even more kind of blues-based at that point, less modern, more, finding our feet, and that's where we started. And so I thought people are not going to dig this, and you know what? Every night, people loved it. It was shocking. It was a learning experience. Like, oh wow, we're learning what people do like and how things work together. And Priest was so wonderful. Rob was great. Everybody in the band was great. He spoke to us very kindly. And I remember Rob saying, this is what we had to do. When we started doing what we did, it was the same thing. Their brand of metal was different than what was happening. And they had to be black sheep and play in front of audiences that they weren't sure were going to accept them either. And people obviously loved them, and they became legendary. So, and I'm so proud to come through the heavy metal door. I find that the heavy metal audiences are the loyalist of people. I always have said metal and old country artist fans. Metal fans and country fans are the two loyalist fan bases out there. Rock, blues as well, I guess, but rock, indie, alternative, all these things, it's fickle. It comes and goes. They like what's hot in the moment, But a good heavy metal fan, like we were talking about heavy metal, and I immediately said I grew up with Metallica, and I appreciate a band like Mastodon, and you said I'm a guy that likes Slayer, Iron Maiden. These are old bands, and these are old records that you're probably listening to. You stayed with them your whole life, and that's loyal. So we found that these metal fans, they've been loyal to us. And it's also, we were kind of coming through the back door. They don't have a Rival Sons in their catalog. They listened, we played Hellfest. There's all people with black paint on their face and all this heavy, and here comes Rival Sons playing Face of Light and Soul and these ballads, and people put their lighters up and they're holding each other, these dudes in their leather jackets with, you know what I mean? So I don't know necessarily that I think we fit in better with that world. I think we feel all those worlds. We could fit in any of them, to me. Folk is very deep in our heart. Blues is a massive part of our career. Alternative music is important. Modern rock, modern music, pop music. It all works for this band. We're just hoping that people see it one day. It's okay if they don't, because we're going to keep making records and keep playing shows. But if you go through our catalog, you're going to see, wow, these guys, it's the multicolored dream coat. There's a lot of influence and a lot of color on all these records.
That's true. But many people see this because tonight's show is sold out for so long time now.
Yeah.
And I think the venue is not too small.
It's a nice size, yeah.
Does it make a difference for you to play in front of 50 people or 5,000 people? Because I saw you a couple of years back in Madrid on this huge festival as well, and the audience was
crazy.
Huge. It was crazy. Does it make a really difference for you? Or is it always playing live is playing live and kicking asses?
I think it does make a difference in the way that people are energy, and we can feel energy. You can feel 5 in a room. You can feel 50 in a room, and you can feel 5,000 in a shed. You know, you can feel the energy of a room. It gets higher. But that has to do with feeling an energy of a venue or of a performance. I think when it comes to how we perform, it's not that different, because if we can't feed off of a very large audience, we can feed off of a very small audience, and in that way it's very distilled how people feel. We can feel it. And I think we're feeding off of the audience in a very similar way, and off of each other. Really, we're up there playing, the band is playing together, and we're playing for each other.
Yeah.
Every night I'm playing with Jay Buchanan, and if he feels really good, I feel really good. And I'm gonna make sure I'm giving him my best performance. Because we have that. If we have nothing else, we have that.
Yeah.
And then we can walk away and feel like, that was great. You know, me and him will perform in a room with nobody in it and think, that was good. Like we did something nice, you know? It's not always about just, art isn't about becoming famous and rich, you know? So sometimes it's just the person you're creating with. Sometimes if you're a painter, it's just painting in the room and seeing what you've created and feeling good alone. Not all the write-ups that you're the greatest living artist, everybody should give you money and fame and love you, and that you have the audience's captive eye or ear. Art is about creating something that self-satisfies, that you feel you've contributed something beautiful, and then from there it can like blossom and you can share it, you know. So in that way it doesn't matter.
And that's the way artist is true.
Yeah.
This is true art, and that's when the people feel it more.
That said, we've created music that's meant to be played for people.
Okay.
It's meant to be for people. It's meant to be with groups of people to have a good time. It's that's our intention when we're writing it in the studio. It's not just for ourselves in that way, but we have some of the greatest rehearsal times, as well as like festival plays, as well as playing to small rooms.
I see. Do you have some special rituals to prepare for a show besides of doing interviews and that stuff?
I'm not too ritualistic, I don't think. Maybe somebody else would notice it, but I'm kind of getting in my own head with the show, preparing, kind of clearing my heart, possibly some breathing, possibly some chanting, getting suited and booted and ready to hit. After I do that, I'll probably hang out a little with the boys, be chummy, get ready to be on stage together and make something beautiful, raise the energy and the feeling in the room, and take it out there.
So, man, thank you for your time.
Cool, man.
It's been a good talk.
Thank you.
And famous last words are yours.
Love each other more.